Good morning guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to another video. Today I'm finally sitting down to film my first impressions with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation. It's starting to warm up a little bit here. It's a little bit on the cooler side today. Like right now it's about 13 degrees and I feel like it's just gonna warm up just a tinge today. I've got my moisturizer and my eye cream on, and I thought I would just jump straight in with the foundation. I don't think I want to use a primer or anything like that today. I just want to see how this one will go. So yeah, and I'm hoping that the sound is better on this one because I do have my mic plugged in. I do have it turned on camera mode, and I do have a battery in there. So hopefully this one is smooth sailing. I do have the heater on, which I'll just turn off because I feel like it's a little bit loud. So this is the Fenty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation, like I said. So this is the shade 240. This is exactly the one that I use in the Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation, I believe that's what it's called. So let's just dig in. Yes, so this is a squeeze tube packaging, which I quite appreciate just because it's easier to get all the product out. And it does have a pump, so I'm really glad about that as well. And I'm going to be using a brush today, but in my next video I'll probably try out a sponge as well. So what I've noticed is with thinner consistency foundations I tend to use a sponge, and with thicker consistencies like the Flower Beauty foundation, which is really thick, I prefer to use a sponge with that. So we'll see what the texture is of this one, and then we'll decide which one you're going to use. So I've just got my palette here, and we're just gonna so it is a runny consistency, so definitely going to be, it's not as bad, but I'm just going to be using my brush with this one today. I don't have anything fancy, just using a flat top brush that I got a long time ago. Just looks something like that. So even though this is like a runnier consistency, I feel like it would be much better with a sponge. And I feel like it's sitting on top of the skin. The coverage, I don't mind. Like, it's covered pretty much everything, and I don't have a lot of redness to hide, to be honest. However, I feel like it's sitting right on top of the skin right there. It feels and looks heavy on the skin, if that makes any sense. That's without, and that's with. I just feel like it's definitely like something weird's going on around my nose. Okay, I'm actually going to get a sponge and actually use the sponge with this one. I'll be right back. I feel like the longer it's sitting on my skin, it makes it look a little bit nicer and softer, but we're just gonna go on this side with the Real Techniques sponge, and let's see what happens. And then I might just take it all around. The match is really good, like no doubt. So with this sponge, I feel like it looks a little bit more dewy, and with the brush, it just looks a little bit more matte. But I'm already starting to see creases, which is not normal. Like, if you notice just around my mouth, it's starting to crease. Well, that's not going to be fun. But around my nose, where I went in with the sponge, like, it looks a little bit softer and not as cakey as it does on this side. Like, this side for sure, it looks so cakey, like what the heck. and this is just okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and like smooth everything out with the sponge, just so that we have a little bit more of an even application. It just does look like you definitely get more coverage with the brush, but it's not the most flattering look, if you know what I mean. I don't think I need to go in for seconds or anything like that. Like, I don't mind the coverage. I think the coverage is really good. I just feel like the application, and you know, part of it is my fault. After the brush, I did wait a little bit to kind of go in with the sponge. So sure, it's gonna like the brush application, but clearly I was wrong. You know what, that's all right. We're not gonna waste any time on this. We're just gonna move on. I'm just gonna do the base on camera so you guys know what's going on. And then I'm actually going to jump straight off camera, do the rest of my face, come back and give you a finished look and a starting point. But yeah, that's literally about it. I'm just going to go in with my concealer. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. I do find this a little bit drying now. Not the concealer itself, but just around my eye area. I feel like it's a little bit... it dries out my eye area, under eye area, so there is that. I'm gonna start using my Maybelline Age Rewind, Instant Age Rewind, which apparently works just for everybody else. And that's the only one that I haven't tried that has been hyped up so much, so yeah. This is the BH Cosmetics brush from their Marble collection. In number 4, the writing's wearing off, so yay. I'm not putting a lot, just it tends to crease on me quite a bit, so there we go. And then for my under eye area, I'm just actually going to take my Maybelline Fit Me powder. I was like, it's not recording. Almost had a heart attack. Just taking my Maybelline Fit Me powder in number 220. And just a flat brush and just locking the concealer in. Now, I normally would powder. My skin type is combination oily. It has been on the drier side lately, but definitely combination oily just around my T-zone area. And my under eyes are usually dry, but I have to powder them just because I cannot risk a full day with no under eye powder. Like, that's just, it's not gonna happen. I'm going to use, normally I would also bake a little bit, but I don't want to take anything away from the foundation, so I'm actually going to use the same powder on the rest of my face. So just a light dusting. I'm just using the e.l.f. complexion brush for that. I can't believe I'm already creasing around my mouth area. Like, I do crease, and that's not surprising, but this early into a wear test, the only way I can think this working is when my oils come through and it looks a little bit better. And then for my bronzer and everything, I'll just do it on camera. My eyes are probably pretty simple today because can't be bothered. Actually, frankly, put off by this. Anyways, I'm using my Maybelline City Bronzer in number 200. I believe that is called Medium Cool. And then for blush, I'm just taking my e.l.f. blush in Peachy Keen. Definitely need a refill on that one. These ones just give you a nice subtle hint. I'm not going to use any highlighter today because 1, the blush is going to have some, and 2, I don't want to end up looking like a grease ball, so, you know. If there's any shine, I want it to be from the foundation so that we can judge it better. So this creasing right here, I don't know if you can tell on camera. I think it's a really good camera and a really good lens. But that right there, I don't normally crease there. I don't know where that's coming from. Okay guys, I'm just gonna quickly do my brows and eye makeup off camera. There's literally no makeup that I'm gonna do on my eyes, but I'm just gonna jump off, finish off my eyes, and then come back and we will start the starting point from there. All right, you guys, this is the finished look today. That's what we have going on. It's starting to settle down a little bit on my face, but then at the same time, I feel like my nose area could definitely use some assistance there. Like from far, it doesn't look too bad. I'm just saving the look with the lipstick today, keeping it a little bit bold. I'm trying out the new Bite Beauty one. I'll leave the name down below. But yeah, the creasing is still there. It started really early on, like in the middle of the application, so definitely not high expectations from this one, but I will give it a fair shot, try it with other stuff, and hopefully make it work. That's what I did with the Flower Beauty one, and I found a way to make it work. So hopefully we can make this one work as well, but I will have a check-in during the day, and then I'll finish it up at night. But that's the starting point. I haven't done much around my eye area. I just really did not want to take away anything from, you know, the foundation or anything like that. Check-in time is 9:15 a.m. Of course, I finished off my foundation about 20 minutes ago, so but we'll just call it 9 a.m. as check-in time. Hey guys, so I've zoomed you in completely to the lovely grease ball that my face is at the moment. It is 5:41 right now, which means we've had this makeup since 9 a.m, so roughly about 9 hours. I don't think I want to keep it on any longer. I am going out for dinner, but at this point, my skin doesn't seem to be doing all that great. I will blot it in just a second, but overall it's been quite a day. I did record a video right around, so I did do a check-in actually, right around, I want to say 3 o'clock. I think it was 3 o'clock. And I did it on my phone that I normally always do. So I do use my phone for the check-ins, and I'm using the iPhone XS. This is, I use a back camera, so I would get like a DSLR kind of a feed. The creasing kind of minimized as soon as my natural oils came through. But like, look at my nose. It's just, it's horrendous. Like, it's, you can actually see a reflection of the light in it. It's that bad. And overall, like everything, I feel like, to be fair, I think I would try this with a mattifying primer, because what I've been doing is if I'm using a matte foundation, I'll use a hydrating primer. And for this one, I feel like I need to use a mattifying primer. And see if it'll benefit, you know, the longevity of the foundation. Now, I did say that I am combination too oily, and I haven't used any primers or anything like that. My frustration this morning with the brush side was around my nose area, which it still looks, yeah, it still looks a bit patchy, and it still looks like as if, you know, there is stuff that's gathered around my pores, which I, like, it just looks a bit weird and heavy there, versus this side kind of still looks a little bit more smoother, I want to say. But with this foundation, like if you see around my under eye area, like that's also looking a little bit different, a little bit weird. You've got my mascara transferring, like I look like a hot mess, like someone who isn't very good at makeup or anything like that. I'm not claiming to be amazing at it, but at the same time, like I'm not this bad. I do feel like this side is a little bit more oilier than this side. Like you can still, like if you see on my highlight area, you know, like the top of my cheekbones and stuff, like it's not as shiny as it is on this side. Like it is casting a lot of oil reflection. I haven't touched up anything. The only thing I did, because my lipstick transferred up a little bit, so all I did was a little bit of powder just on that. But I haven't powdered anywhere else. I haven't touched up anywhere else. I haven't even touched up my lipstick. So if you have a look, like it's a hot freaking mess. Like honestly, I would touch up around my eye area because this normally, I would feel like my under eye is, yeah, I feel like my under eye creases a little bit during the day. So I do tend to touch that up normally at least once or twice in the day. But overall, like, just what is going on? And I really feel bad because I love Fenty Beauty. Like, I love their products. But this is just... Let's blot and have a look. Now, for blotting my face, I normally just do... I feel like I'm just saying... I'm using the same adjectives over and over again. I'm just going to quickly blot my face. I'm just using a tissue for this. So not a whole lot is transferring on that. Like, that's not really too much. Oh, okay. So I thought when I blot, like it would actually lift the foundation, but the transfer is not that much. I'm pleasantly surprised. Okay, I think I can wear this a little bit longer. That is so interesting. I'm just gonna dab everywhere now. Okay, so I was really expecting everything to transfer onto, like literally the foundation to be lifting, but it hasn't transferred off a whole lot on my tissue. And being white, like you can tell, like it's not a lot. It's just literally oil that's transferred off without actually transferring off the foundation, because normally you would feel like I would actually see this happening, that the foundation would completely disappear from my nose, but it's actually not doing that. But upon doing so, I've noticed that the problem that I was experiencing this morning with the foundation kind of piling up around my nose, like that's still happening. I'm very conscious of it being on my face, so I don't know. I feel like I want to take it off, but let's powder and see how we feel. Otherwise, we'll call it a night. I mean, 9 hours is still pretty decent. So I'm actually just going to use, again, the Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I feel like it might have revived it a little bit. For my under eyes, I'm still taking the same brush that we used in the morning. I think we can live with that. I'm just gonna apply a little bit of a lip gloss. I do want to say that I feel like the pores on my sponge side look a little bit more minimized than they do on the brush side as well. Okay, so we're gonna end this here for now, and then I will do one more check-in and then we'll call it a night. Okay guys, welcome to the last and final check-in of the day. It is 8:52 and I think we're gonna call it now. I am tired and I'm ready to go to bed. I feel like things have turned around significantly. So okay, so after the touch up, I feel a lot better. I feel like my skin looks a lot better. I feel like a lot of the lines and everything that we were experiencing earlier, they have kind of diminished. I actually had kebabs, kind of like kebabs for dinner, so my lips and everything is completely worn off. However, like, I feel like my skin doesn't look as bad as it did earlier this morning, so I think the more it wears, and I think after like a couple of touch-ups and everything during the day, it should probably wear a little bit better than the beginning. None of it has changed from earlier in the morning when we applied it. Like, my nose area and everything looks pretty much the same, but it doesn't look bad. The creasing that I was experiencing around my mouth area has significantly decreased, which is a good thing, especially after the touch up. I'm starting to see a little bit of oil coming through again, but not as bad. I feel like this is a foundation, if you had a skin type similar to mine, you would need a couple of touch-ups during the day, which I don't particularly mind, and that's okay for me. But I think practicality wise, like if you're in a busy working environment, which I am in at the moment, it's not very practical. So this would be one of those foundations that you would use. I think I would use this more in winter, and peak winter, that too, like not a time like this where it's not really cold, it's not really warm, it's just pleasant. Yeah, it's a great foundation. I don't want to discount it. I feel like my thoughts completely changed after we blotted and touched up. I feel like that just gave it a new life, and I feel like it touches up really, really well, which is a great thing. This definitely is geared towards drier skin types, so I think if you have dry skin type, a dry skin type, this would be something that would definitely work for you. And if you are someone of an oilier skin type, this could be, you could make it work, which is what I'm going to do in the next, couple of days. Like, I'll continue trying it. And once I have a decent wear out of this, I will leave a pinned comment, or even just in the description bar, like a little bit of an update on my thoughts of it. So yeah. Alright guys, that marks the end of this video. Please don't forget to give it a like, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel also. I hope you found this video helpful, informative, and somewhat beneficial in helping you decide if you wanted to go ahead and buy this foundation. Definitely late to the ball game, but hey, I'm here now, and I hope you find this useful. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Take care until next time. Bye! Wow. This is going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. Wow.